So you join me down at my club lake today where I've been testing a new set of rods and reels from Shimano. We've got the Shimano TX Ultra A and the brand new Shimano Techniums. I came down the day before, sling the rods out with the hope of catching 1 or 2 fish for the cameras, and literally minutes after casting out I had a take on the zig, but unfortunately that fell off. Then in the night I had another take which ended up being a tench, and when I woke up in the morning with no more takes I was starting to get a bit worried that I wasn't going to catch anything. Thankfully though, I ended up having a right result and had 3 takes, one after the other. So let's walk down to my swim and take a look at what I had. Well, there you go, a nice little brace of February carp. A dinky little, probably mid to upper double. Beautiful fish, clean as a whistle, nice big scale on his side. That one was on a little pineapple pop-up. And then how about this one? He is absolutely gorgeous, isn't he? Beautiful and dark. They're all lovely like this in here. Absolutely stunning. And that was caught on a zig literally minutes after whacking it back out there. Right, let's get these 2 back and we'll have a look at the main event. Well, how about that for an absolute unit? Just under £36. Unfortunately, it's a recapture from last year, but I really couldn't ask for anything more on a cold February day when I'm doing a bit of filming. Proper beast, and a great way to try out those new rods and reels. Let's slip them back. We'll go over the tactics that we used and a bit more about that tackle. So after that flurry of activity this morning, I've not had any more bites. I've got a feeling that those fish are probably just pushed a little bit further back off me. So I'm gonna bring this right hand rod in and whack it right out there as far as I can. Now the rods that I'm using at the moment are the Shimano TX Ultra A's, and they're in the 3¼ pound test curve, which are perfect all-round rods. However, with this wind and fishing at around 120, 130 yards at the moment, they're just about maxing out. But luckily, Shimano also sent me a 13-foot intensity model just to try out for fishing at extreme range. So I'm going to swap the Technium reel over onto that rod, just to give me that little bit more comfort fishing at extreme range. These reels have really been a dream to use this session. Really nice and smooth when playing fish, but also, importantly, they're really powerful for cranking in big leads from range. And on here in particular, where you've got all this horrible silkweed, you can literally just pump them in with no problem at all. What an absolute nightmare that was. Must have been stuck on a bit of an old tree stump or something out there. Had to let it go for a good while and then suddenly it pinged free. It was caught on one of my other rods, but thankfully it's all stayed on. Happy days. There you go, a real dumpy little character. And he gave me a real run around too. He ended up going through one of my other rods and everything ground to a halt. Gave it a bit of pressure, nothing was moving, so I ended up having to put the rod down and leave it on a loose clutch, and eventually it started ticking away, and then the line pinged free, started going in a different direction, and it was free of the snag. So, managed to do battle and finally get him in the net. Another nice little scaly stocky, this one. Let's get him back. Well, it's safe to say that I've definitely put this rod and reel combination through its paces this session. I've talked before about the TX Ultra rods in another review video, but I've just got to reiterate how beautiful a rod they are, both for casting and playing fish. They're extremely light in the hand, they've got a beautiful soft tip section and all that power through the butt section. All the technology that Shimano have used also makes sure that they're really crisp and accurate rods. Now, the futuristic handle might not be everyone's cup of tea. If you're a bit of a tackle tart, then you're going to absolutely love it. Whereas if you're more into sort of classic designs, then perhaps it's not for you. But what I can say is the technology used and the functionality of the rods has to be experienced to be believed. So that's enough about the rods. Like I say, I've done an in-depth video about these before. So let's move on to the brand new Technium reels. So once again, rather than going through a long list of specification on the new Techniums, I'm going to concentrate on what really makes a difference to us as carp anglers. So probably one of the key differences between the new and the older Technium is this longer 45mm spool, and then combined with the super slow 10 oscillation, which lays over 100 wraps of line, it gives you a really lovely parallel line lay on there. And this serves a multitude of purposes. It means that when you're casting at long ranges, the depth of your line barely decreases at all. I'm fishing there at between 140 and 150 yards out, and it literally looks like barely any lines come off. Now obviously this helps with your cast because you've got even less friction there. That parallel line lay on the spool also helps keep your line in tip-top condition too. As I've previously mentioned, Shimano have utilised loads of top-of-the-range technology in these reels, and that makes them really strong and really smooth too, both for playing fish and cranking in leads from range. Another key feature as well, something that I really appreciate, is rather than having such an instant drag, they've actually meant that it's a few more clicks between more of a free spool and a locked up drag. And what that basically means is you've got that little bit more control when you're setting your drag. The last real sort of key feature is the wind on handle. Rather than winding on and then flapping about, it actually winds on and folds tight against itself, which makes it that little bit easier as well when putting the rods away. Shimano are claiming that these are the best distance reel ever built, and to be honest, it's hard to disagree. They really are a stunning piece of engineering. If you want to find out more about these reels and want to check out those finer details, then why not head to the Total Carp website, where we've got a review online, or you can check out the Shimano fishing page.